Hello, welcome to Positive Affirmations Tuesday. And today is Tuesday, April 24th. I had a very trying morning. I started the morning off by breaking my glasses. Now, anybody that's been on my streams before knows that I've been saying forever and forever and forever, I need to go get a new prescription. I need to go get a new prescription. I need to go get a new prescription because my eyeglasses. Hi, Ronnie. My eyeglass prescription was really overdue, and I knew I needed to do it, and I kept putting it off. Well, guess what? This is why I say when things happen, you can't say to the universe, "Why are you doing this to me?" Because what the universe did this morning when I broke my glasses was it did it for me. Because now I can't put off getting my new glasses anymore, right? So I have these readers, which are okay. At least I can see your comments and I can read. But they're not good for distances because I need bifocals. I'm blind both ways. And so that's how I started off my morning. And so that was interesting. But I really didn't get, I was bummed about it, but then thank God I had the backup readers, right? And unfortunately I can't get in till like next month. But, well, hi, Sarah. I can't get in till next month, but if I hadn't broke my glasses, I probably would have put it off for another 3 or 4 months. Anyways, I think we're all like that, right? Kind of put off, I don't necessarily like going to get eye exams, and I think we put off the stuff like that, Well, I don't like going to the doctors ever, really, to be honest, whatever kind of doctor it is. But I can no longer put it off because the real glasses are put. So, I can't possibly be alone. I should have done it 6 months ago. But then maybe I would have broken the new glasses. I don't know. Okay. So today, I didn't really have any planned, and I was gonna just go by whatever reading was in the book for today on the 23rd. And so while I was looking for it, then I came across this other reading, and I thought, well, you know what? I bet a lot of people have this issue, and let's just see what happens. Let's just go with it, okay? Because sometimes not planning things, and sometimes just going with whatever happens organically, sometimes that has some really cool results. So, the title of this reading and this wonderful book that everybody knows that I love is Anger at Family Members. Many of us have anger towards certain members of our family. Some of us have much anger and rage, anger that seems to go on year after year. For many of us, anger was the only way to break an unhealthy bondage or connection between a family member and ourselves. It was the force that kept us from being held captive, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes spiritually, by certain family members. It is important to allow ourselves to feel, to accept our anger towards family members without casting guilt or shame on ourselves. It's also important to examine our guilty feelings concerning family members, as anger and guilt are often intertwined. We can accept, even thank, our anger for protecting us, but we can also set another goal, taking our freedom. Once we do, we will not need our anger. Once we do, we can achieve forgiveness. Think loving thoughts, think healing thoughts towards family members, but let ourselves be angry as we need to be. At some point, strive to be done with the anger. But we need to be gentle with ourselves if the feelings surface from time to time. You can thank God for the feelings, feel them, release them, and then you can ask your God to bless and care for your family. And then ask for some help to take freedom and take care of ourselves. You can let the golden light of healing shine upon all that you love and upon all with whom you feel anger. Let the golden light of healing shine on us and trust that a healing is taking place now. And then the affirmation is, help me accept the potent emotions I may feel towards family members. Help me be grateful for the lesson they're teaching me. I accept the golden light of healing that is now shining on me and my family. And I'm thankful that healing does not always come in a neat and tidy package. Healing rarely comes in a neat and tidy package because trauma never comes in a neat and tidy package, and that's what we're healing from, right? So, when people are going through something that's really a struggle and that's really problematic for them, emotionally wise, usually a breakup or something, right? And the question that I've been asked, how'd you get over it? When it's happened to you. How long did it take? And the thing is, it takes as long as it takes for you to finally release whatever's going on, whether it's a person in a breakup or a friendship or anger at somebody. It just takes however long it takes, but it takes time. And sometimes I think when it comes to family issues, and we've talked about this before. Hi, Agatha. We've talked about this before. Hey, family problems, those are tricky to maneuver. Those are hard to get to untangle ourselves from, right? Because you can never really have a fight with just one family member, right? Everybody's going to chime in. So this, and we've talked about it before. These are probably some of the trickiest relationships to remove yourself from and extricate yourself from, and say, hey, I need some space from this right now, right? Because there's so many different ways you keep getting sucked in to families. Oh, so-and-so sick, you get sucked in. Oh, Thanksgiving is here, you get sucked in. Oh, it's, Grandma and Grandpa's 60th wedding number, and you get sucked in. Oh, the family reunion, you get sucked in. And what you really need is time and space from whatever you're healing from. And I've had a lot of anger at my family, a lot, and for a long time. When I was really young, when you're forced, because of childhood and age, you're forced to be in that environment. I didn't know what to do with those emotions. I most certainly couldn't show them. I was dependent on these really messed up people for, everything I needed to survive. Um, so you kind of had to play. I mean, you had to play nice with them, right? That, I mean, that that'll screw you up for a while. And then when I finally, at 18, got out of there right away, uh, then you're angry, um, and I wore that anger like not like a badge, but like a shield, right? And then I would hear, probably right around this time, when I was 20. What? Hi, Quinn. Hi, Jay. Welcome. So if you're just joining, today's the reading that I did with anger at family members, and we've all struggled with those kind of. Uh, we've all had anger at a family member at one point or another. Some of us have had it longer than others. Um, it could be anger over a little thing. It could be anger over some really big things. And right, yeah. So yeah, Jay, I get that one too. And so I was when I did get away from my family, and I just beat it the hell out of there. Like I said, I was just I was angry. Oh, I was so angry. I mean, I lived my life, right? I had my friends and had my apartment, and I, wasn't like I was walking around, just, you know, kicking cars and snapping at people. It wasn't like that. But trust me, that anger would come up. And because I had buried it for so long as a kid while being forced to live with these lunatics, um, I did not, I absolutely did not know how to appropriately release any of that. It was my shield, Jay. I did wear it as a shield, and listen, it protected me from a lot of stuff, right? Because it also protected what was an open wound. I felt like it shielded that open wound from other people poking at it. So I could kind of keep people away with that anger, but that anger also shielded what was a lot of pain, and I had no idea how to release it or process it. So when I would get angry, well, hi, Mary Lou. When I would get angry at something, it was like a volcano. There was just all this other anger that would come up. And I mean, I was young, right at 18, 19, and so I would throw things. I got over that pretty quickly because I got pretty sick and tired of breaking my own stuff. So I was like, well, that's not fun. That's not fun to have to go out and buy that stuff again. But, and so then I would kind of tamp it down again. But it all surfaced from my childhood and this anger at these people that I felt should have taken better care of my childhood. And we all, I'm going to be 56. We all still carry stuff from our childhood. That's everybody. Nobody had a dream childhood. Nobody. I don't care, what they look like, what they have, what they don't have. I don't care. Nobody had a dream childhood. perfect childhood because you can't be raised by perfect parents because nobody's perfect. And parenting doesn't come with look, I get that parenting doesn't come with a guide or an instruction booklet. I get that it has to be really tough raising little humans. I get that. And I'm not talking about normal everyday mistakes that happened in my childhood. I'm talking about, some pretty serious abuse and neglect and some not very nice stuff that would make anybody angry justifiably. And so relatively soon after I moved out at 18, I would say maybe within 4 or 5 years, maybe, Oprah got her show, right? And she would dive into stuff like this. And oh, hi, Lynn. Yeah, I wondered what you were doing awake when we talked earlier. It probably was that long train trip that kept you awake. Welcome. So Oprah would dive, if anybody remembers Oprah when she first came on to the scene, she really dove into some of the tough stuff. And I remember she would bring, therapists and specialists and things like that on her show. And it was always, oh, forgive. You have to forgive to set yourself free. You have to forgive. You have to forget. And I thought, horseshit. It would make me so mad when people would say that, when I would hear it. It was such a turn off to me. And it was offensive. Because I think some things are unforgivable. And some of the things I was angry about, I wouldn't forgive anybody if they were done to somebody else. So why would I forgive it being done to me? That wasn't going to happen. And it hasn't happened. I'm going to tell you that right now. I have not forgiven. I am not, because that would be insult to injury to me, to the kid that went through and survived what I went through and survived. And I'm not going to do that to her. I have her back. I have that kid's back 100%. I'm not going to forgive those people that tormented and tortured her, right? There's no way. I wouldn't forgive it if it was done to your kid or to you. So I'm not going to do it for me. But what happened was, over time, as I got older, I was able to separate myself, who I was now, from what had happened. Jay says, a therapist tells me that forgiveness is letting go of the hope that the past will change. Even with that, it can be almost impossible. It can. It can. I mean, that's, I think that's definitely one way to look at it. I've heard forgiveness phrased a lot of different ways, but again, for me, I'm not saying for everybody. For some people, I've seen the TV shows and all that where, a parent of a murdered child begins visiting the murderer in prison, writes them letters, goes and sees them, forgives them like that. Oh no, no. But I've seen it. I'm not going to judge at all what works for somebody else. I'm really not. If it works for you, it doesn't hurt you, it doesn't hurt anybody else, then, hey, that's not all right. Always have to hear something from the peanut gallery. If it's not hurting anybody else, then do it. I'm all for it. But I'm telling you, it's not for me. What I finally had to do, because being so angry all the time and having and stuffing it, because that was the norm. Like, what other choice did I have at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? What other choice did I have but to stuff that anger? So when getting triggered and becoming too angry, that didn't work. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for anybody else. It was misplaced anger. Somebody was getting, it was like somebody asking if I had a light and a dragon just like, and like torching them. Or somebody would do something that wasn't that big of a deal. It would make me angry. And then all of this other crap, that didn't work. It didn't work. I didn't even like it. I felt so gross afterwards. And I kind of felt like the people that had done it to me. So that didn't work. Forgiveness wasn't an option. But it finally sunk in. It took a long time. So I didn't have to carry that anger like a shield anymore, because I wasn't around them. I wasn't around them. I had left, and I had left it all behind me. And trust me, I read a lot of self-help books. I did a lot of self-help workbooks. I went to therapy. And I think all that did help eventually. I think it was all little pieces that kind of helped me get to where I needed to be. They were all kind of little steps. This self-help book was a step, and then the self-help workbook was another step, and then this self-help workbook, and then this bout of counseling, because I never really went to therapy for very long. I'd go for a little bit, but I think they all helped kind of move me along until I could take all of that information along with all of the history and put it together in a way that was a solution that worked for me. Ronnie says, for me, being away from the people for a long time, I just feel nothing about them anymore. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. They're not a part of my day-to-day life and don't matter, but forgiveness isn't a part of that. Right. That's how I feel. I feel absolutely nothing when I think about those people. Nothing. There's no pain. There's no anger. There's no forgiveness. I just feel nothing. That's a relief. But I was probably 30 before I started to release. I remember one day, I don't know if I had watched a movie or if I had read a book or if I used to go to Barnes and Noble and I grabbed like 10, 12 books, right? If there was a chair open, great. I'd plunk down in the chair for hours and hours and hours. If there wasn't a chair, I'd plunk down somewhere in the aisle with these books and go through them. till I whittled them down, to maybe 4 or 5 that I would take home. Maybe sometimes 6, maybe sometimes 1. But I just remember one day just being like, why am I continuing their work for them? Like, I haven't seen them in 12 years. They're not here. They can't hurt me. They haven't. Geographically, it's not even possible. They don't even know where I'm at. I don't know where they are, right? And I thought, why am I still so pissed off? Why am I still so hurt? I'm robbing myself of joy and peace of mind. And that's what they did. Why am I doing their work for them now? And I decided that day that I was going to drop it. And it was going to stay where it laid. It was going to stay right there in that moment on that day. And I wasn't carrying it around anymore. And I wasn't going to look back at it, because it was exhausting. And I wasn't going to go back for it. I wasn't going to put it in my little red wagon and drag it around from apartment to apartment, relationship to relationship, and month to month and year to year. I wasn't going to do it anymore. Sarah says, I try to forgive, but doesn't mean that I forget. Right? Well, anybody, that whole forgive and forget, not so much. Nobody really does. You never forget. Of course you never forget. Listen, I can forgive little things. I can forgive innocent mistakes. I can forgive somebody's humanness. What I can't forgive, and I'm not going to ignore ever again in my whole life, is somebody's callousness, somebody's abrasiveness, somebody's abuse, somebody using me, somebody disregarding my feelings, somebody always thinking that their feelings are more important than my feelings, because if we're friends or in a relationship, everybody's feelings matter. Everybody's feelings matter. And so those are things I'm not gonna. Those things to me are human, just human error. Those to me are toxic traits, right? Jay says the only ones who push forgetting are the abusers, and the ones. That's right. Hey, the abusers, the people the abusers, the gaslighters, the users, the whatever you want to call, well, they are masters of pretending like it never happened. Hey, I watched that happen in my own house with my mother. Well, I think she's still married to him. The last stepfather that was there, from 12 on. The drunkenness and the fights and, oh my God, the pushing and shoving and, like my mom locking him out of the house. I remember he threw a brick through my brother's window. Like, we had school the next day, right? And I remember one time, like, getting in between them. I think I was 11 or 12. Like, that's my mom. Why I was protecting her, don't ask me. Because honestly, nobody deserved an ass kicking more than she did. But he deserved one too. And I liked him a lot less. You know, I get in between them. Guess who's in trouble the next day? Me. They're lovey-doveyed up again. Like it never happened. Except something happened because Annette's in trouble for it. What? What? That's one example of the craziness. But that was constant. It was constant. Get abused, and the next day everyone's eating breakfast together, dinner together. Some of the craziest stuff that I ever saw. And as a kid, you're growing up watching this. And I also grew up in the era of stop crying before I give you something to cry about. And I'm thinking, you stupid cow. You already gave me something to cry about, and that's why I'm crying. Right? Take that look off your face. Or we're not getting out of this car. I mean, you were just never, ever allowed to show any emotions that weren't acceptable. The emotions that nobody wanted to talk about. And oh my goodness, Lord help the ones that talk about it or want to talk about any of this stuff because everybody else in the family turns on them. I feel so bad for those people. I was one of those people. You're the black sheep. You're the crazy one. You're the liar. When every single person knows it's true. That what you're saying is true. Whoa. And these are your formative years. And then you get out into the world and you're supposed to be like this fully functioning person. And you got all this baggage that you're dragging behind you, and you don't know what to do with it. You don't know if it's safe to talk about it because you already got attacked when you tried to talk about it. You don't know what to do with the feelings because you're not supposed to really show feelings, and you know what you think, especially what I thought as a kid was our house was the only house that was like that. Because it's not what any of my friends' houses or families look like. Of course, I probably wouldn't have seen it if it was. It's not like, I mean, we weren't really allowed to have friends over that much. Isn't that funny? That's usually the way. But it wasn't like my friends saw any of that stuff happening to me either. So they might have thought everything was okay too. But you get out into the world and then you have all this anger. And you don't know if it's justified or if it isn't. And I'm telling you, it's justified. If somebody has hurt you and mistreated you, you are justified in your anger. But don't hurt yourself with it anymore. I have not forgiven. I will never forgive. I will most certainly never forget. But if I saw one of these people walking down the street, I'd look the other way. Or I'd cross the street. And I'll tell you, one time when I was like 27, I was in Michael's because, yeah, I was crafty even then. And I was with a friend of mine, and I heard my mother's voice. on the next aisle. I turned to my friend, and my friend knew some of the stuff. And I was like, oh shit, that's my mom. And she was like, let's just get out of here. And I was like, no, I'm not running away from her. I got nothing to say to her. I'm not running away from her. And at that point, I had stopped whispering and was talking just like that. And I heard my mom say on the other side, we got to go. She heard me. She heard me. And whoever she was with said, well, we're still shopping. My mom, we got to go. We got to go. We'll come back another day. We got to go. Let's go. Let's go. Just leave the cart there. And I thought, oh, you're a coward. The other part of me, because I hadn't quite dropped what she had done to me, I thought, oh, might have how the tables have turned. She's worried I might cause a scene. She's worried I might, if we came face to face, go, oh, well, hello, Wicked Witch of the West. Remember me, the one you did all this stuff to? She was terrified. And she got the hell out of there. And I thought, okay, I can finish shopping, right? But I thought that's so telling, right? Because she was a bully. Anybody that hurts a kid, something that's smaller than you, and cannot possibly defend themselves, you're just being a bully. And but that's how bullies are when they think they're going to get confronted. They shut down or they close up shop and they beat it the hell out of there, right? Because they don't want all those ugly secrets to come up. And the thing is, they weren't really secrets because, like I said, everybody knew. And I wouldn't have, by the way. I wouldn't have confronted her or caused a scene that day. There wasn't any need. Even if I saw her today, there would be nothing that I could say to her. There could be nothing she could say to me that would make it better. There would be no way for me to enlighten somebody like that. If she's got crap she's got to deal with, and that's not mine. I don't have to feel sorry for her or co-sign any of her BS because she has her own demons. I don't have to, okay, oh well, go fix those before you interact with other humans or bring humans into the world. I'm not going to cut you any slack because you had it rough growing up. Fix that shit before you inflict it on other people. You know, even if I said that, it just would go right over her head, so I wouldn't waste my breath. But I can tell you, I feel nothing for these people anymore. And I don't feel sad for them. I don't feel mad at them. I just feel nothing. They're just complete strangers to me. If I saw them, I mean, I know who they are. I know what they are. That's enough for me. I'm safe now. I'm safe. Nothing that they could do to me. And if they tried, oh boy, would they be sorry. I'm not that little kid anymore. I didn't forgive. I didn't forget. I just decided that I was going to stop being angry all the time. That I was just going to stop carrying it around. Agatha says people like that don't deserve to be in your life. They don't deserve to be in anybody's life. Those are the people that should be shipped off to Tool Island and all have to live there together. That's what they deserve. To have to go live in a community, you know how they used to be, because they're like emotional lepers. They're just emotional, toxic lepers. And they should have to go live in a leper community made up of other toxic people like them, where they can just feed off each other, and it would just be gross. And they can just stay there because they don't deserve to be in anybody's life. But when you're a kid, and that's your family, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. But when you're an adult, and some time has passed, and you grow, and you realize that you're your own champion, and you realize that nobody's going to treat you that way anymore, because you don't deserve it. You didn't deserve it then, and you're not going to accept it now. You wouldn't accept it for a friend. You wouldn't accept it for your child. It's not acceptable in your life anymore. You know, murder isn't acceptable for me, so I don't hang out with murderers. People that abuse kids, that's not acceptable to me, so I don't hang out with them. Family or not, I guess what? I'd rather leave the band and go solo than stick around with people just because they're blood, or because it would upset Grandma and Grandpa. I don't care. Grandma and Grandpa would really be upset if I told them some of the horror stories. I'll go cut a solo album. I don't want to be a part of the band anymore. That might sound extreme. That worked for me. And it didn't hurt anybody. And that helped me heal. The more I was away from them, and the more I realized that I wasn't like them. And that I was none of the things they ever said about me. I wasn't stupid, fat, ugly, retarded, and ruined their life the day they were born. And trust me, those are things my mother said to me from the time I can remember. You're fat, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're retarded, and you ruined my life the day you were born. I wish you were dead. From my earliest memory, when I realized I wasn't any of those things, and that those things were just as false as a lot of the other things that she had said to me about things, and just as false as the persona that she put on for other people, I was able to separate myself from it. And that helped me. You know, everybody's blood does not equal family. Jay, you're right. Blood does not equal family. It doesn't. You can have a family of your making. And most of us at the age that we are, we've gone along, we've got married and had kids and created our own families, right? And taken on their family. But and a family like that, I mean, with a family like that, who needs family? You can wander. It's okay. You know, that wonderful saying, all who wander are not lost. It's okay to leave and go in search of your people. Your people are out there that will love you for everything that you are. for everything that you've been through, everything that you are, and will support you while you're on your journey to become everything that you will be. They're out there. It's okay to leave and go in search of your people. I promise you, it is. Jay says, I told my aunt, one of those people in my life, that I did have to thank her for showing me what family is and isn't, and that I'm blessed with a great family, even if my relatives suck. I think everybody has at least one person in their family that sucks. Some of us got the whole clearance lot of them. Very few people in my family do not suck rocks. But I'm just saying that Sarah says, as they say, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. You can choose to leave. You can choose to say, I had to put up with this crap for this long, and then I chose to put up with it for this long, but for me, I'm closer to my death than I am my birth, and I ain't choosing that crap anymore. That's me. You can choose to create your own definition of family. Look, there are people that are adopted. There's no blood there. And they couldn't be loved more or cherished more. And they couldn't love those people more. Sometimes the adoptive parents choose to tell the child that they were adopted. Sometimes the child never knows. Sometimes they find out because something happens and some blood work or something comes back. Blood doesn't equate family for me. For me, it doesn't equate family. That's how I kind of release my anger. Everybody has their own path, their own way. And my hope for anyone that still has the anger is, I'm not talking about forgiveness, because I don't know your story, and that's my business to tell you to forgive. Because I'm telling you, I get it if you don't. I promise you. But just ask yourself, is it serving you to carry the anger around anymore? Just ask yourself if it's serving you. If it's serving a purpose, like it's helping you maintain the distance and keep yourself safe, then do with it what you will. But if it's not serving a purpose, if it's wearing you out, if it's cropping up, thoughts are cropping up in your head randomly, day, night, whatever, doesn't matter what you're doing, watching TV, reading a book, but if that's because you're carrying around the anger, and with the anger you're carrying around the memories. I'm telling you, I haven't thought of these people in years. They'll come up in a conversation like this, but it means nothing to me. And when the conversation's over, it's over. There's absolutely no hold on me anymore. I'm going to save my anger for what's going on now. I'm going to save it for what's happening right here. And that worked for me. A lot of journaling, like I said, a lot of reading books. some therapy. But I think I just eventually, at the point where I stopped, I had just gotten tired. I had just gotten tired. I just got tired of carrying the crap around. That was what it came down to. I was like, this is just bullshit. Why am I carrying this crap around? I don't want it. It's gross. It's gross. I know what happened. It's in the history book. I'm not going to forget it. It's there. If I need it, it's there. If I need a reminder, I can pull it up. No, I don't really need a reminder. So for any of you that are feeling or conflicted about your anger, I always encourage for you to separate from the toxic person or people in your life. That's always what I encourage. Because you cannot think straight in chaos. You can't. You can't really make good decisions for yourself if you're in a state of being on the defensive. And anger is kind of being on the defensive and the offensive at the same time. So you're really confused. Just ask yourself if it's serving yourself, and if there's some parts of it that you can just put in a mental suitcase and drop somewhere today. I mean drop it. Don't go back for it. But you can't still be interacting with the person. That's the trick. And if you still are interacting with the family, since we're talking about family today, anger at family, if you're still interacting with that family member, it's going to be tricky, because they're going to trigger you. But everybody has to decide what it's worth. Is the relationship and the relationships that come with it worth all the pain and the anger and the dysfunction and the chaos and the stuffing? Listen, if you're still around somebody that was abusive to you when you were a child and you're still around them in your 50s, you're stuffing huge parts of yourself. And Ronnie Lynn says, have faith in yourself. Be a good person to others. Be different, right? But if you're still interacting with people that have hurt you in the past, you are not your true self when you're around them. That's not fair to anybody. You have a right to be yourself. You have a right to be happy. You have a right to be who you are, whoever that is. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. And don't ever hide your light under a bushel. Don't ever. Don't ever. There's not one part of yourself you have to be ashamed of, as long as you haven't hurt somebody else. And if somebody hurt you, you're not the one that should be carrying the shame and the anger. So if there's any part of it that you can drop it. Drop it and see if it feels better. You don't have to drop all of it if that's hard. If you can't pack it all in a suitcase today and leave it, pack some of it in a knapsack and say, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I was hurt enough by this, and I'm not gonna, now that I'm grown and I can protect myself and I'm my own champion and I'm a great person and I'm different than these people, I'm not going to keep carrying it around and because now I'm letting it hurt myself. Try it. It might work for you. It might not. It might be a step on the path, down the road, that'll get you where you can drop it. You can drop the dysfunction, you can drop the anger, and you can drop those people. You can. I promise you, you can. Okay. Now I have our affirmation cards that I'll leave everybody with. Okay, our thoughts. Got an affirmation on one side, and got the question on the other. And like I've told people before, I really always loved these because, and I had a journal for a long time. So when I would pull one of these cards, I'd write the question in the journal, and then I would journal about that question. So the affirmation says, I am enough. I am enough. I'm enough. And the question says, what does being enough mean to me? What are some reminders I can give myself when I start to feel inadequate? What does being enough mean to you? Because you are enough. You are. You are. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope that this conversation was what somebody needed to hear today. Never comfortable to have these conversations, but it's a whole lot less comfy to keep the crap inside, right? Thank you so much for coming and joining me today. I will see you next week for Positive Affirmation Tuesdays, same place, same time, different topic. You never really know what it's going to be. And thank you. Listen, be well. Be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Find every reason you can to smile today. And let go of what isn't serving you. Don't have to carry around what isn't serving you. And remember, you are enough. And whatever it is, you are enough. Go to the mirror and tell yourself, look at yourself and say, I am enough. Good enough. I'm kind enough. I'm smart enough. I'm good looking enough. Because the world couldn't handle it if I was more. All right? Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for everybody that came. And I will see you next week. Okay? You're enough. I promise.